My guess is he's got a masculine essence, like most men in the last 2 or 3 generations. I mean, hell, you know, you could go throughout history, but recently especially, there hasn't been initiation. There's no initiation to manhood anymore, really. I mean, at least in the West. I'm sure in some indigenous cultures it still exists. You know, think about what they do if you're being initiated as a man. In the Amazon, they'll put you in a bunch of really gnarly poisonous ants and bite you until you almost die. Then if you survive it, you come out, everybody celebrates, you have a party, you're a man. Now there's a lot going, or the sun dancers, right? Let me put hooks through my pecs and hang from a tree in front of the village for 3 days. That's what sun dancing is. It sounds crazy, but what it does is it trains a man to be with massive amounts of discomfort and stay open. And so initiation rituals and initiation in general has not been, they basically just started to disappear. And now you've got fraternities and the military. Nothing wrong with those, but they're not those kind of are faux initiation. So yeah, not just your man, but most men are masculine essence. And the way my teacher describes it is that if they have to be sensitive growing up, they develop what's called a feminine shell. That means if one or the other parents require more of their feminine in order to, like I used the example last night, if they grew up in an alcoholic home and you have to be super sensitive and super intuitive and super sweet, right? You develop you're not going to go around with a sword like killing things and challenging death. Like boys like to challenge death. You know, girls too, but the masculine in a young boy tends to want to kill things and climb on things and jump off of. I mean, if you just look at 2 boys playing, what are they doing? They're killing each other. They're trying to kill each other. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. You know, there's just like it's the masculine, you know, obsession with death. Starts very young. So possibly he has a feminine shell, which means when stressed, by somebody, I don't know who or something, I'm not sure what, he'll revert to that. That make sense? Yeah. And so lots of men learn to develop a feminine shell either because they weren't raised by a strong man, or there was some kind of abuse or problem, and if you can bring that understanding to him and what you've learned this weekend to help bolster his essence, I would try that before you come to the conclusion that maybe he's feminine and you're feminine. But doesn't mean you can't. Maybe this will be the practice I send you guys out of here with, but doesn't mean you can't be in your masculine when he's in his feminine. Because there are times when he should be in his feminine, and the moment calls for him to be in his feminine, and if you had a sacred masculine to hold him and tussle with him and play with him and make it feel okay, he would move through it and then return to his essence. But what do you do if you want to be in your feminine and he denies it? Do you calm down? You're like, okay, all right, I guess he doesn't want to see my feminine? Or do you tend to get more enraged or more, yeah. Well, that's what men in their feminine will do. If you're not seen, my feminine, his feminine, men in their feminine, if they're not seen, they're going to get angry. They're going to get angry, just like you would. Just like your feminine would. You don't see me? Fuck you, let me crash the car into something. Or I'll get more angry, so you'll see me then. Not that any of you guys do that. So the things you're learning about the feminine for yourself, they apply to a man in his feminine. Now you could either judge the fuck out of him and be angry that he's not holding you, or you could hold him for a while, see what that does, and then the moment his masculine's up, drop into your feminine. swoon for him or whatever feels right in that moment. And then you create a dance. There's a dance now. Modern relationship is more of a dance between the masculine and feminine than what it used to be, which is I'm the masculine, you're the feminine. That was kind of toxic. It didn't work very well. Again, if we go to indigenous cultures, the men will celebrate their feminine and create ritual around their feminine. They don't call it necessarily, but they'll celebrate it. And it's celebrated collectively. In some places in Mexico, like men will literally like dress up, put on makeup, like literally like celebrate their feminine, you know. Mardi Gras, if you go, so most men don't have the capacity to actually celebrate their own feminine or have any fucking idea how to do it. Straight men I'm talking about, right? Sexuality doesn't necessarily matter. Kind of went off on a tangent there, but I'm trying to explain like what's happening with the masculine these days. So we think that our feminine is expressing our emotion and complaining about men. I'm talking about men. Expressing our emotion and complaining about what we're not getting. Nobody's taught a man to express light through his fingertips, or to move like the ocean, or to reveal the deepest emotion at the moment. How many of men you know how to do that? None. Right? It was. I remember the moment that I did it. I really learned how to do it in my relationship, where I was literally like, I have to find the deepest amount of grief right now, or I'm going to just be totally inauthentic. And I made a decision to go as deep into my feminine, just kind of like what you guys were doing, and be a fucking hot mess. Like just tears streaming down my face. You don't love me, and this is when you. I'm making no. I can't even remember what I said. I was making no sense at all. It was just absolute grief and insecurity, and I just everything that was coming through me just went out. But it was such a watershed moment for me, because I realized that if I drop fully into my feminine, I polarize her presence, her loving presence, which is exactly what happened. And she was with me. I love you. It's okay. She honored it. She saw it. And then once that happened, we could flip. So given that men don't know how to do this, find the deepest emotion and then express it fully, it's kind of incumbent upon you guys to help them when they're going there. If he's starting to get emotional, and you can be present and say, "Oh, baby, what's going on?" Like, and he's like, "Oh no, tell me more. What else?" Look at his feminine as rather than the enemy, which is how many women look at it. Like if he's in his feminine, it's the enemy. Does that feel true? It's the enemy. It's not. It's part of who he is. Probably part of why you fell in love with him. And your masculine can help shepherd it, and then see what happens after that. He probably won't stay there if he's not a feminine essence.